welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hi, Dave.
Hi, and this is This and That in the skating lesson where we talk about all things skating. We're going to talk about the Junior Grand Prix in Lake Placid, all the news this week. So if you are new here, smash that like button, subscribe below, and ring the bell so you know when we upload, because we've got a lot coming. We're going to be going to the Mid-Atlantic competition in Chelsea Piers, where we're going to see the Knierums debut that number where they are always doing that move in the short program.
Right. That's right, yeah.
And Jonathan, guess who? So I've heard that Nika and Danny withdrew, which I had to say, I'm a forgiving person. I'm not ready to see Delilah Sappenfeld in person. We're not there yet.
Yeah,
okay?
We've got to work up to it.
We're praying for them, but we're not there yet. Okay?
Right. Gotcha.
But do you know who's going to be there?
Who?
Elton frickin' John. Nina Moser herself is going to be there. So that is why the pairs are going to be there. We're going to be watching Mervyn and Olivia. We're going to be watching Alexa and Chris. So I can't wait for it. I'm going to take a half day on Friday. So
that's going to be exciting. What are the dates of that again?
It's going to be Thursday and Friday. They usually do it on a Friday and Saturday, but Thursday and Friday in Chelsea Piers. I'm going to go after work on Thursday, hightail it out, and then I'm going to, I think, take a half day on Friday. Maybe I'll say I have a doctor's appointment. I do have a doctor's appointment with Alexa Sameka. Okay, it's for my behavioral health.
Exactly.
Okay, I can't quit.
So I have to say, watching her on Instagram, she has been such a delightful person to follow because she's doing, sort of the self-help, motivational kind of post, but watching her work with some of these young kids on their skating skills and stuff, it's really heartwarming.
I think she's found her niche. They look very happy in California. So I think that, and I know that people have all sorts of feelings, but all sorts of things, which are much I think longer discussion and stuff that you can't really get into about who knows what, and not everyone knows everything, that people think that everyone assumes that everyone knows every detail about everything. But anyway, there's a lot we can't get into because we can't reveal names about anything. So, anyway, I think that with Alexa and Chris, I'm excited to see them perform these.
Absolutely,
at least that move that they're doing. She looks very happy coaching though with the young kids. And
it's endearing.
And then I had dinner once with our friend Priscilla and a skater from China, who was skating, I think, at a decently high level there, and then went to school here and is in grad school in California, and she's now taking lessons from Alexa as well. So that's interesting.
Oh, nice.
So I saw that picture, and I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, yes. Well, let's get into it. There's a lot happening, and so we're filming a little bit later today because last night, I have friends that go to Asbury Park every Labor Day weekend, so I went down there, and Jonathan, I was dancing last night,
good for you. No one was watching.
I mean, people were watching, but I kind of enjoy that. But
okay, that's part of it. Okay,
because I was with friends who were theater directors, so we were at this. So Asbury Park has this really trashy gay bar where there's a swimming pool on the side, and then there's dance.
I already have anxiety about it. Okay.
So the night started because we were out to dinner. We got done with dinner early, so we were well, what should we do? We went to this bar, and there was gay country line dancing, Jonathan. And, I don't know if you know this about me, but, I love a country line dance.
I cannot say I knew that about you.
Oh, yes.
Your achy breaky heart was in rare form last night. Okay.
Here's the thing, though, about the country line dancing places, is that they always want you to get there too early to learn the dance, and then if you don't know the dance, they will, kick you off. And at this gay bar, all of the bouncers were very scary lesbians who were you got to get off the floor if you don't know all the moves. And I was
wow.
Okay. There were 8 people on the floor, all of 65 or older. We were getting in no one's way. But if you want to call out that I didn't know all the moves, we were trying and putting our best effort forward. I would say that we were better at the line dancing than the Indian skaters were at skating. So I think I was offended by that. And where was Ted Barton to say how beautiful it was that we had the love of country
your
line
hands
dance?
And your expression to the music. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But then we were in the bar and we were dancing to disco. Viola
I love disco, right? So fun.
Funky Town. Oh, yes. There was a wind machine, Jonathan. There was smoke. Donna Summer came on. We requested...
Who we also love.
I don't know if you know my favorite disco diva of all time. I'm a Diana Ross girl.
Okay.
We put on Upside Down, and I'm Coming Out. Oh, It was happening last night. I
love all that disco era stuff. Grace Jones. Thelma.
I ran into someone who recognized me from Twitter. Apparently, we had a moment when Chelsea Memel wasn't allowed to compete at the Olympic trials in 2012. I saw like some big Michelle Kwan fans who live down in Asbury. I passed them. They were like bike riding at 11 at night, and I was like, "Wait a second, I know who that is." Like, but it's quite the town, Jonathan. I think you need to go and just
it sounds like a lot of things are happening there.
Oh, because I have a friend who's a theater director.
Okay.
And I was like, "Can't you do some shows that I could be in as a chorus boy?" Like, come on.
Yeah.
And last night, I just want to say, Jonathan, he taught me the audition dance to a chorus line, and I don't. That is my mood. That is my era. That is like I'm worried about you this season. I'm worried it's going to be a rocky fall. I think it might be triggering. I feel that there may be an opera thing with this whole Broadway rhythm dance thing going on.
But I like Broadway very much.
Right.
We were kind of talking. You were testing the waters. You're is opera above Broadway?
Because we know that like the opera singers are like the trained talents, and the Broadway ones are the ones getting all of the attention. And I just want to say...
But not all the money. You make more money in opera than you do on Broadway. And it's like slave labor how much they have to do. It's thankless. Those 8 shows a week, are you kidding? Ugh.
No, but let me
exhausting.
I know Julie Andrews had to miss performances of Victor Victoria. You know, it was like... I was rewatching an old interview with her this week with Barbara Walters. Oh my God, the theater director Gay told me that he didn't like Julie Andrews, and like it was a fun dinner. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to appreciate her. No. Maybe it's not your style.
Was not appreciating, and it was not just like the old like, is Bernadette Peters better than Patti LuPone? Because I have big feelings about that. It was a debate. Anyway, we know that this year, we had heard this about a month ago, that Papadakis and Cizeron are performing their rhythm dance to Fame. Jonathan,
love it.
I am so freaking here for it.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
I'm here for it because it's fun. I love Fame.
Yeah.
And already...
And a wide variety of music. Did they say specifically... Because Fame has so many, like, gorgeous ballads in it. It has, like, more 80s fun...
We need to talk about the literal gays. We need to talk about how annoying they are on Twitter already. Even ones that we love, like Galen and Chris, Galen and Greg, were like, well, Fame wasn't really on Broadway. Do you think that Broadway just means literally New York Broadway? It's musical theater.
In the same way we saw some people here do Aladdin. I mean, yes, it's on Broadway now, but...
It was also... I know, and there's always that guy Sanford who thinks that he's getting, like, a personal this and that when he, like, writes to us. Remember the one that gets really mad? Yeah. If you don't, like, respond to him, it's hard. It's a struggle. I know, we try. There's that... Because the West End. I saw Fame on the West End. I am sure the ISU, being as Eurocentric as they are, considers the West End equal to Broadway.
They're using Broadway as a loose term to any sort of show. Yeah, yes. it truly.
Genre, okay?
Yeah, like, it is a genre. I mean, they could say...
If there are chorus boys in dance belts swapping sexual partners, it counts as Broadway, okay? If there are jazz hands, dance belts, and like...
If someone is thanking their partner Tim in the program,
yes,
then it counts. Okay.
It counts, okay?
Yeah.
Right,
well,
so, like, talk about what you want.
So focused on it. The qualifications.
Yeah, I don't, and who knows? And like people, it never seems to dawn on them that like junior Grand Prix and seniors are different with the It's too hard. It's too hard. You know, it's a thankless job, Jonathan. Anyway, talk out your feelings about Fame because I have. First of all, the biggest relief is that they are doing something so different that we don't have to hear those annoying Canadians be like, they do the same thing every year, okay?
Yeah, because they could have done, there actually is enough musical theater repertoire. They could have done another lyrical, sweepy, kind of thing. And they're not. I think this is absolutely the year to try it. And it might be a little camp, but there's this whole thing in pop culture right now where camp is in.
Oh, Jonathan, I don't just want like a little camp.
No, they gotta go.
I want Guillaume to dress in a leotard and represent, maybe unshaven. I want, like Paul Poirier would do in the Rhythm of Another.
And then shave before the free dance.
I want Guillaume to represent all of our gay brothers who didn't make it to 1987 because of the AIDS crisis. Like, I would like him to be that gay, okay? Yeah. I would like him to be so gay in this that, like, in only the 80s way of, like, the campy gay choreography, okay? Like,
absolutely. You've got to own it. Yeah.
I want leg warmers.
Yes, and headbands, sweatbands, the wristbands.
I want Gabby to have so much Aquanet in that damn hair. I want, like, full
Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical kind of styling. Yeah.
Irene Cara, like, Flashdance vibes, okay? Like, yes.
Singer. Yeah.
I want to be dancing on a car. I want to feel that car in the ice. Maybe they could, you know how that car at that one Grand Prix is always in the corner? Let's bring it out to center ice.
It's China. Isn't it the Audi?
Yeah,
yeah, we Audi. Drive it on at the end.
Remember. I believe it's going to be the original. Interesting tidbit is we had heard from one of our Gadbois eyes and ears that they had originally been deciding between Fame and Elton John. And when we saw that Nathan Chen was skating to Elton John, I got so excited because I've been on Team Fame for quite some time.
Now, if they had done like the Elton John Aida or Tommy Boy or something like that, that would have been also, I think, vintagely cool in a similar way. I think the 80s way is the way to go.
The only way is if we were doing Aida with the Deborah Cox remix of Easy as Life. That is the only way I would be here for it. Okay.
Okay. Not the Lion King? You didn't want them to do the Lion King?
No. Okay. None of that. Okay?
Okay.
We're not ready for African dance teams, okay? We had the Indian dance team. It was a lot. I need to be my best Ted Barton self.
Not anything. Yeah, it was a lot, yet nothing at the same time. So.
Oh, it was a lot.
Okay. We'll get into that. Is this that moment, or are we going to pin it for when we get to the dance section?
You know what? Why don't we just get into it? Because I feel like it's organic.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Because they weren't really in the competition. Let's not pretend.
And yet they really, hogged a portion of the narrative. Because
how could they not?
And the girl doing her own thing also, and it's not meant to be any disrespect, all these people talking about how brave they were, how lovely it was to see.
When anyone calls you brave in skating, the last time someone was called brave was Gracie when she had no business being at Cup of Russia. That is the last time someone was, when a skating fan calls you brave, that is like the meanest, forced Ted Barton compliment of all time. Jonathan, I work in corporate communications. I shell corporate bullshit for 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
When I listen to Ted Barton search for positives and it just flows out of him, he is in the wrong profession.
Even he had a couple of moments where, and what I do appreciate about Ted, yes, we love that all of this is happening for the Junior Grand Prix. And I do appreciate that he shuts up during the performance.
Thank God. Because I wouldn't be able to listen to it.
Could you imagine hearing, the forced positive comments?
Do you know that I can't watch it live because I can't with Ted. And I also judge anyone who's like, I love Ted. But anyway, I mean, I appreciate him in, a comedic way.
I appreciate the work he's done to bring all of this to the forefront.
I prefer the ironic Ted commentary. I usually will fast forward over it just to see this, but if someone was so god-awful that I want to hear how he spins it, I will then listen to it. He said that Alysa Liu's jumps were around and we're watching the replay and they weren't, and Ted is also watching. This is a guy that was able to get the Junior Grand Prix. Either he loves to lie to make people feel good, and there are a lot of, skating fans who want to believe that,
Well, unless he was just talking about from the judging protocol thing, because it sounded like a couple times.
Jonathan, he was watching the jump happen. And there are some times when Ted reveals that he does know technique when it's going on. He does. He does know, and he shuts it on and off when he wants to.
Yeah. And to me, if you're watching the Junior Grand Prix, I understand that it's a lot of young people, so it's probably a lot of families and people that know the skater that are watching, but really it's a lot of super fans. Go there. The couple of technical insights he had about certain arm positions or takeoffs with the leg, I always appreciate that kind of insight.
Like, he explained Alysa's second triple axel fall really well.
Right.
What was happening there. Now, when he starts, just...
But Dave, honest to God, I thought about this. If you saw the dance team from India who got, I believe it was 2 points in PCS.
There were 0.75s that I felt were generous. I'm going to...
Yeah. I mean, it was a little... Like, you could just sign up. I understand that it was being explained to us that there is no qualification to get here.
That were tweeting that in 10 years they think they could be winning competitions. And I was like, these are fans, like, who watch the competitions every week. Jonathan, skating brings in all kinds. I feel like...
It does.
I feel like a lot of therapists, like Jenny, could just be making bank. And I think Jenny's doing very well. Okay.
Right.
But anyway.
I mean, what does one really say after you see that short dance? Or what does one really say after
I watched the
her?
interview with the girl. I thought she was totally charmed. I was like... I have two sides of this, right? I have my rational brain, because I am a soft person, otherwise. On one hand, I was like, oh, this girl loves skating, and that's great. I felt like how exciting for her that she got to compete here, and it clearly, like... But then another part of me was feeling like, oh, it could be like the Chinese pair where he was so mortified when he saw what he was up against at the Olympics, and it's like that deer in the headlights. I mean, this dance team was crashing into the other teams during practice, because they have never been
actually causing a problem.
Well, they've never been on a session, like...
Right.
I know. Raphael was mad about Caroline Zhang when we went to visit him, and saying that she was slowing down the other skaters. Imagine if this team were on the rink. Remember that episode of the Tessa and Scott show where the French, like, crashed into them, and Scott was like, well, I remember my first competition. I mean, this was literally this team's first competition. The girl, totally charming. They were attempting jumps that I don't think they've ever rotated before. Also, did they do side-by-side single toes? I mean, they weren't rotated single toes, but did they...
But also, they were in the ice dance event.
They did side-by-side jumps in the ice dance. Like, again, like, I...
It's like when Besmianova used to do that double flip, right? Like in an exhibition.
I kind of loved it. I mean...
It just sort of seemed...
I watched the performances more times...
than some of the winners.
Than I ever will watch, like, Tarakanova. Ever.
Yeah. Yes, okay. Correct. I would like to
remember the Indian dancers. It made me go rewatch the Indian junior pair team. India tried this 10 years ago, okay? They tried this once. It was just as successful back in the day.
I mean, I just don't understand how that federation is okay, yes, all things considered, though, how is this possible?
So there is one rink in India, because we saw this girl's interview. It is like, I think it's the size of Rockefeller Center to Fritz Diedel ice rink. She was saying that it's like around like a quarter to a third of like to a half of the size of the rink. So I think it's like the rink that I skated in. So it's completely different when you go to a big rink. Like your timing, everything is like, your spacing is off, right? You have to like practice in the big rink longer than just the official practice on there. But we're giving them like the pity entry to competition. Maybe we should really be, if they want to really promote the sport, maybe you either pay for people that, like, I think that their coaches look like they learned how to coach skating by watching skating on TV, and I don't mean that to be rude. Like, it didn't look like they...
Yeah, they have limited resources, clearly, so
maybe you either farm them out to another country for 6 months to a year, or you bring someone in, or you do both. But I think that's how you grow the sport, rather than just allow someone to potentially be the laughingstock of a competition /
and score
endearing.
50 points below the person ahead of them or something, when all things are considered. It's just a waste of that competition's resources. All of those judges sat there and judged that before they judged Alysa Liu.
I know that you're not allowed to talk to the person next to you, but
you might have had to for
this. If I had to watch that performance and score it and be like, how honest do I want to be? Now, when people started taking, like, choreography and music violations, I was like, well, maybe that's a little excessive. Like, I don't think we need to go that... to kick, like, the crying dog while it's down. Like, I don't think...
But have you ever had those dreams where, I mean, I don't know if this is a performer thing or just everyone has these dreams where suddenly you're on stage and you don't know the words?
Oh, yeah. Like, I've always had those dreams where you're going to have the final in college and you've, like, all of a sudden forgot to go to the class all semester.
Yeah, and you have no idea what the subject matter is. This was that.
This was that in real life.
Where you woke up and suddenly you were competing against Alysa Liu.
Jonathan, it was beautiful. It was great. Ted told us that she had performance ability that was off the charts.
Would you have just sat silent? You know, that's why I could have seen Sandra come in and be like, you know, it makes one wonder the purpose of this particular outing in the eyes of the Indian Federation. So...
Someone needs to be sane. Okay. Listen. Ted had a banner thanking him for all of his...
He had two by the time of the ladies' final.
No, I haven't seen that video of him when he was on the Zamboni, but I heard that it was all the jam, okay? It was... I didn't see it, but...
I didn't see that particular assignment either.
Now, your favorite pair team is going to give us more... Ice dance team. Not the Indians. Okay. The Indians are maybe my favorite dance team. I thought, by the way, I think that the girl is charming. The boy, total dud. Total dud. I think we could find a better partner. Similarly to, I have asked several people about my girl, Annabelle Morozov, and several professionals say that she either needs a better partner or the partner needs a lobotomy if they're going to be successful, but they think she has star potential.
Okay.
I think the same thing with the Indian dance. That boy...
Same.
was in the wrong sport. Okay? I don't know what he was doing. That girl was a star. There's something there.
He's holding her back.
Jonathan, he is holding her back. She could maybe get 1.5s for components if, like, he was not
She could be in the ones. She could be in the ones without him. Yeah.
Listen. We could get her at adult nationals with that performance. Those women like Allison Manley are very competitive.
I was just gonna say she couldn't beat Elizabeth Manley.
Allison Manley.
Or Allison Manley.
No, she could not.
She definitely couldn't beat Liz Manley, but yeah.
She's going for jumps that are too hard for her. In adult skating, when you do well, you need to sell it, okay? Yeah. None of this.
Don't question it. You're there. Commit.
You have to commit. You have to make that lunge the best lunge of your life. You know what? She was skating to Celine Dion, and I appreciated that. Okay? I thought it was a real...
You were there for it, yeah.
Okay? Let me tell you. It was as good as dancing to Diana Ross with a wind and smoke machine. I'm just telling you. To skate
you were both
to Celine Dion in your junior Grand Prix debut. Everyone is paying attention to you. You're from a random skating country that no one is... Like, you are guaranteed attention, right?
Now, don't the host venues have to approve it?
Like
the entries?
The ISU, come on. This is like a mafia organization. Are you kidding? Like, what?
Yeah. But, I mean, so they still had to approve it. So the same thing, it was the girl from Cyprus the week before, but she did much more. She had at least 15 points. This girl had, like, 5.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Everything's a learning experience.
You know what? Ted said they were just learning this new discipline. That the way he spun that ice dance, free dance was...
I know. It was remarkable.
He should work in corporate communications. Jonathan, there are people on my team that literally... I'm not even going to say it. You know what? In healthcare, the amount of spin that you send to someone, just know that, like, there are a lot of programs that are identified with, like, data numbers. And then you have to spin to people that you want to help them, achieve their best health and live their best life. And that means, like...
Not your liability. You need to fix this, and we need to help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the red on 7 things. You live, my favorite bullshit term, food desert. Jonathan, that means that we cannot find a real vegetable in a 5-mile radius of where you live. But there's like a Popeyes.
But I believe that. Having traveled, I was like, no wonder everyone eats so poorly here. You can't find anything but Cheetos and Fanta.
That's called a food desert.
Which they probably pronounce dessert.
Okay. You really made that pun there. You really did it. Okay.
Hey. It was only a matter of time. Oh, I've got a good pun. I thought of it. For when we get to the pairs. Brace yourself.
But I want to talk about your dance team because we know you love Piper and Paul.
I do love Piper and Paul.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
You were on board with that. You also like Dmitry Aliev.
I do. I definitely do. And you know what? I have two new favorite guys. One in the men's division here, discipline here, and one of the pairs boys was outstanding here. We'll get into it.
Save it.
I'm adding to my collection. Okay.
My daughters were on display. My daughter and the ice dance won. Okay. Let me just tell you, we can pick a winner. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get to Alysa Liu.
I never pick the winner. I never said that. I pick someone very artistic that probably will never be able to deliver in competition. That's usually my thing.
So Piper and Paul.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working with Marina Zoueva. Again, Marina has 17 lives, okay? We know that Piper and Paul, she doesn't have the extension. We know, look, they've been dead-ending. They clearly need political pull like no other, so they've gone to Marina. But I have to say, the only thing with Marina's track record, God love Marina Zoueva.
For real.
But that woman could rob a bank on video and get away with it. I'm telling you. No mask, could go in there with
one of her other team jackets.
Yes.
Mexico team jacket. Yeah.
Meryl's dog, anything. She could go in there with Bilbo and she could steal it. Okay, and here is why. Look at the receipts. She stole Gordieva and Grinkov from the most famous pair coach in all of Russia when she was a no one.
Well, I was just going to say, she wasn't transferring to a camp. She just went in and said she's the new thing, and she was.
I know. And then she stole Tessa and Scott and Marilyn Charlie from Igor and got the Shibutani parents who own the rink to do the dirty work. And then, now she's got Piper and Paul, and she's got Taras and Morozov, because Elton John didn't want to coach them anymore. She had frickin' enough. And she's working with them with Johnny Johns. And we have Piper and Paul. And if she thinks they are any good, she will steal them from Caroline. And I just think Canadians are a little too naive to realize that what could happen, Jonathan. But at the same time, Canada is so far down in skating right now that this is all they have that I think they should
Marina could be the push they need.
I think they should hope that she causes a Caroline meltdown. Okay, I am just saying that this is all Canada has going for it. They could be pushed off the podium.
Yeah.
There are people that are praying for a good Japanese pair team, okay? And a good dance team. Jonathan, it's getting...
We're there.
We're at that point. Mm-hmm. Canada, they gloated over that gold medal long enough, and they might be in the pewter. And there are a lot of people that would secretly laugh, but we also would feel for them at the same point. But Piper and Paul, they gave us the schmaltz with that whole Van Gogh program last year. You know, both sides now. Joni Mitchell. It was a program on Stars on Ice with Christy and Jenny Mino and Denis Petrov, where they were mirror skating images because Katerina Gordieva was originally supposed to be in it, which would have been the Sandra Dream. It was Christy, Denis, and Katya, and they were doing a triple camel spin. And then Katya was pregnant with Ilya, and they had that tall daughter who's still trying to skate. So they had to have Jenny Mino. And let me tell you, Piper and Paul are going to skate to both sides now. Canada is going to love it. Exactly the kind of emotion. It's going to be approximately 4th or 5th place. And I'm just saying that if Marina can work her magic.
But 4th or 5th place may be still a step up from 6 and 7.
It's true.
I mean... They needed to push even a little bit more into that 4th, 5th place.
Ted is going to get a tear in the eye with PJ Kwong. The way this is going. Tracy Wilson is going to sell this on Canadian Nationals. People are going to talk about the medaling at Worlds. I am just saying that we can see the future. It's coming.
Okay. Brace yourselves.
We're ready for it. Okay?
Yeah. I'm intrigued because it's another thing where they're so funky and interesting. I actually thought the Starry Night was I was surprised by how well it was received because it went more schmaltz when I actually prefer them a bit more avant-garde. But I'm intrigued to see what a Marina collaboration looks like with them when they're not with Carol.
I mean, there's a ceiling there. Okay.
Well, that's right. So at least they almost had to go innovative. Mm-hmm. So I will be intrigued where Marina takes it.
Especially because I think the two U.S. dance teams, from what we hear, are neck and neck. It's going to be a big American rivalry. I'm sure Hubble and Donahue's parents will always feel like they are wronged by U.S. figure skating and by the politics that be, and that Chalk and Bates have always had more resources and been more favored. Get ready, Jonathan.
Well, and I think there's a couple of rivalries because yes, there's that one, but I think Jean-Luc and Caitlin are in for some uphill battles too.
They are. I think they have 1 year before they really have to start stress eating and finding a good therapist because Avolney and Vadym are going to be competing junior this year at nationals. I confirmed that with Igor. So but yeah, let's start with the dance. You know what? My daughter, Avolney Nguyen, Vadym Kolesnik. Now, we don't know what Vadym's citizenship situation is. He may not have citizenship by 2020. That could help Caitlin and Jean-Luc.
Well, I don't know. Or Green Parsons or any of these other ones. I know, but you know what I mean? All of that lower tier, that second tier, if you will, they're getting closer.
They are. Because Caitlin and Jean-Luc have been so up and down. But I think that with a year in Gavois under their belts, they may be a little bit more prepared for this season after the adjustments. So I am intrigued to see what happens. But I have to say, they try to do too many rhythms in the junior Grand Prix, like the pattern of the rhythm dance for the juniors is it's a lot. It's a lot of.
Now I'm gonna own it and ask a dumb question about the key points when they do the pattern.
Okay.
So Ted kept saying he was reading a number of yeses or nos.
Yes.
And they are literally just acknowledging, yes, I saw that key point.
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
What that means is the key points when you see yes, no, or yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes. It's female, man, female, male. Its first key point are the first two yeses and nos, and the second key point are the second two yeses and nos, and then it's the second half of the pattern after the plus sign. So that is usually, it has to do with an edge or a turn if it's clean. So in each key point, there is the female's responsibility and the male's responsibility. And they each have to achieve that key. Now, back in the day, so the way it's judged is they get levels based on whether or not each person achieves the key point. So last year in the tango, there were often points where it would be a timing issue, or it would be if someone would go onto a flat edge. And the rhythm was quite difficult, especially with the twizzle. There was a whole, on the first key point last year, there was a whole change of foot and change of edge, but it's whether or not each person in the pattern is achieving the key point. So there are specific things that they are looking for, and it's often 5 or 6 steps in a row that are quite complex and difficult that they are looking for. And the yes, so if it's yes, no, yes, yes, whatever, each person, let me pull up the protocol for... Okay,
I'm just intrigued then.
So So element 2 of Avolney Nguyen and Vadym Kolesnik, for the key pattern, it says yes, 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 yes. That means that on the first 2 key points, both of the skaters got them. So they would get a level 4 for that. Now they only got a level 2 on the next pattern for their third element because they got yes, yes. So they both got, this is now key point 3. So they both got key point 3. But then they have 2 no's, and on key point, so that's key point 4, neither one of them got it.
So they both missed 4, and so they're assigning 2. Now, if one of them had gotten it and one of them missed it, it would be a yes, no for that key point.
Correct.
Okay.
And last year, none of these teams were getting any of the stuff on the tango, and it wound up kind of being a wash, where it didn't really matter. Now, for Diana Davis and Gleb, it is, for the first key point, it was a no, no. Second key point, yes, yes. So they got a level 2 there because it's 2 out of 4.
Right.
And then for the second, it was yes, yes, no, no. So at least they're both either getting or not getting a point.
Together. They're unified in their decision
but
to hit a key point.
It can be split, where one person gets it, one doesn't. So
got it.
So, and that works for seniors, junior, whatever. So
Right. Okay.
All right. So Avolney and Vadym last year really burst on the scene in a big way. They were They got the small bronze in the free dance at Junior Worlds, 4th overall. This year is really their year to win. I think they know it. I think Igor certainly knows that if they want to have a big future, they need to be 1st or 2nd at Junior Worlds, preferably 1st. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think being out here in Lake Placid and winning when they were
by a healthy margin. Yeah.
And the pressure is on them to win. I mean, in dance, your momentum starts years in advance, and the reputation and the skating has to keep improving. And I have to say that this was a big win. They did their job here. You know, they came in.
He did have a twizzle issue in the rhythm dance.
And in practice. So that was...
The rhythm dance, for me...
Terrible music at it.
It was just not as successful where I thought the free dance was almost an entirely different team. Now, I will say the rhythm dance, their final rotational lift, Dave, love.
Yes.
Love. Oh my God, it's amazing. And they had much more flexibility to do that kind of stuff in the free dance, which I think was so much more successful. When they open that free dance and he does the stationary lift and he's moving the leg and the balance, I almost had to rewind it like 100 times to figure out what was really going on. I was completely obsessed. And right from the get-go, I know I want them to win and I want to give them all of the points. I wish she extended a bit more.
She is really a quintessential Igor skater. She reminds people of Naomi Lang. She reminds people of Jamie Silverstein. She reminds people of Madison Chock. He loves that beautiful, charismatic, often kind of slight girl. That's the one thing that I worry about is... You do need some thigh and butt in ice dance to kind of dig into the ice and get, the power that you need for senior. She is tiny, so hopefully as they grow, because the only thing I think that's really holding them back in terms of senior would be speed and power. That's the one thing and they have good speed and power for juniors, but for seniors against the best in the world, but the one thing is that she is a much better skater than Madison Chock was at her age. Like, when they do the side-by-side patterns, she is quite a strong skater with quite good edges and quite stable. So
it was just she was given a lot of cool choreographic moves that you felt, just put your leg a little further back, just point your toe a little bit more, and it would be such an aha moment. His deportment, especially in the free dance twizzles, he has these balletic arms and center that are really amazing. But to me, yes, it's not in their basic skating necessarily, but for instance, the choreographic step sequence and the dance lift at the end, I think when they do those things, even in the senior ranks, there are very few teams that are as exciting as when they do that.
And Igor's very smart in terms of the elements. Like, he knows how to really rack up points on the stationary lift, on the lifts, on, the different individual elements. I think where overall, just the big skating, making sure that they really achieve that senior Tessa and Scott big, powerful look. The Torvill and Dean command, I think that is the one thing that can really take them all the way to the top. And not have them be just chasing the podium. That's for the future. For right now, it is very good. It just has to keep progressing, keep improving, and that's. They are a quintessential Igor team. Like, this is his vision of ice dance. We have seen approximately 40 Igor teams. Naomi Lang, Hunslin and Swallow, Jessica Josephs and Charles Butler. I mean, you can go back 30, 25 years in
he has the aesthetic he strives for. And I mean, and that was the thing when we were glad, Marina had such an exciting era, but we had kind of seen what Marina's idea of ice dance looked like, and now we were ready for someone else.
And we've seen Igor's. He loves a tango, and he loves Piano Concerto No. 2, because he gave Chalk and Bates Piano Concerto No. 2 not too many years ago. I think this
as long as it's not an American in Paris, we'll be ready to go.
I mean, this girl has Dance Mom's projection going on when she performs. I think she's a star, and he is quite a strong skater. Whether or not he can get citizenship is an issue. They also have Carrera and Ponomarenko with the citizenship issue. So maybe if Anthony, always just keep an eye on him. We may need to plug him in at any moment. If we need to
exactly.
But yeah, I think that this team is really going places.
I think Dave, you want to talk about projection. Mm-hmm. How about some Diana?
Ms. Terry's daughter?
Cow. Well, and she does more so than ever. I kind of saw it in her cheekbones and in her eyes. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Bojanova's husband looks like, but that's a joke. That's a joke, I think.
No, that's okay.
But the pizzazz and sass she was giving, I have to say, I, for some reason, have always been worried about her ever since we saw that documentary with her crying. And I've created this whole made-up narrative in my head and about how hard it must be for her and blah, blah, blah. And so to see her so confidently just schmacked her way through this.
She looks very happy.
Yes, genuinely.
We know she's got the work ethic. She is training with Igor. So she actually trains with Avolney and Vadym. So and Annabelle and her partner were with them over the summer, and then Carrera and Ponomarenko. So they have quite a stable of teams who are coming up. And think about the judges that they have going on. Because they have Nikolai, who's very tight with Tarasova, who's very tight with Alla, the head Russian ice dance judge. And then you have Igor. That is a political marriage made in heaven. That is like all of the power players coming together. So
totally.
That's definitely something. If they could get Julien in the camp, Marie-France would maybe just need to choreograph tours or something. For right now, there's at least enough split amongst the dance power players with the politically. But they are good. I think that their rhythm dance for me is more effective than the free dance. I just think that Aristocats program somehow Terry's daughter is giving. Listen, we know the mother has enough personality to be ice dance star, and the daughter is giving it. It's kind of like Wuthering Heights, where you had Kathy and Catherine. Like, I feel like Terry and Diana, it's the mother.
See, and I was afraid she was Jane Eyre this whole time.
So,
okay.
this girl is, she's going places. It's going to be a slow burn. I don't think they're going to be moving up into.
Well, I was hoping, and I'm trying to think how I want to say this because I don't want to make it about body type or something, but I want him to be on the Zach Donahue plan.
He needs to bulk up a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
He looks a bit like a Russian twink. Okay, we can just put it there. And
with the sleeveless vest and stuff like that. And I want him to be powerful when he moves her. Yeah. And they did have nice twizzles. They were just, a mile apart. But...
Well, look, she's recovering from the Atari skating skills that she's now learning to try to learn how to skate and ice dance, and it's going to take some time, okay?
But she knows how to perform that, Diana Davis, I'll tell you what.
She does. Imagine in the summers, you've got Annabelle, you've got Diana, and you've got Avolney. Get the cameras, okay? And then we've got Ponomarenko, who also seems like a hot mess. So bring it in, okay?
Right,
I want to watch that. I know, and then you've got Ponomarenko, whose dad was on the technical panel, so he has tons of friends. Igor is giving us the most politically, okay? They are really...
Yeah, and it's funny because it seemed like he fell out of favor for a second, but he did the smartest thing, was cultivate the whole next generation in his hand.
Yes.
And so, he may not be at the Senior Grand Prix final.
And when you do that, people forget you for a minute, right? Like, they kind of like...
So you come back and you have all the relevant teams.
Yeah, and then we haven't seen your aesthetic for a couple years, and then you get sick of another aesthetic, and then the pendulum kind of swings. So he was very smart. So he's a very clever man.
He really is.
He really is smart, I have to say. I think that was why I didn't really care for the third place team. They did nothing.
No, I was hoping we didn't have to talk about them.
No,
so.
It was not about them. So let's talk about last week. We got into a little debate, Jonathan.
Yeah. No, now hold on. That's revisionist history. Dave.
No, that is not revisionist history. There was a debate.
Revisionist history.
There was a debate.
Fake news.
Excuse me.
It wasn't a guarantee to me that Alysa Liu was going to be unwavering in her confidence. I just said that this kind of competition, now mind you, she didn't really have the lineup here to make her nervous, like she might at a Grand Prix final, for instance. But I just said it will be a new scenario, seeing her in a new scenario.
You were not so confident in Alysa Liu. And I remember last week I said, Jonathan, I'm always right. And then I was like, I'm kidding.
And I didn't say you weren't. I just said that it was going to be me seeing her in a totally new circumstance that we couldn't really compare to the other circumstances we've seen her in. Although all signs.
Do you know what she has going for her? And I don't mean in terms of skating, and people are going to get so offended and get like, she is not. She has the Michelle Kwan Jedi mind going on.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, I am not talking about the East of Eden skating. I am not talking about making you cry and speak in tongues. That is not what we are talking about. I'm talking about Michelle's steady mind. Alysa, to her credit, there's a lot of people that think that maybe she's competing too much. It's young. You know, she's a lot going on in her life right now over the last... And she's clearly been really thrust. But I think one of the best things that happened is she went to those early competitions in the summer where she got to try her harder elements and skate with the pressure of the first and second time out as the reigning senior national champion.
And all those exhibitions. It was so smart to give her that cachet and skate with it.
Because you know when you have the pressure, you want to have diarrhea when you go out to skate. Like that's just like, I'm the senior national champion. Everyone expects me to be perfect. You start doing all of these.
Was it a fluke?
Flipping things in your mind. To her credit, she has a bit of the Michelle thing where she's like, you could tell very focused, very steady. Apparently, people that have watched her practice, some of our friends will say that she's still a kid. Like, she's still just having fun.
She is, yeah.
Talking, laughing on the ice, and then she'll go just, like, whip off a triple axel. And that's what I noticed with her in Albany last week, is that she was just very unfazed and calm and didn't seem overly nervous. Like, there just seemed to be a confidence and a steadiness as if she got through the sucky period in June, and now she is able to just go out there and do her job. And have confidence.
Well, there's a sense of perspective, and there is a sense of self that so many skaters much older don't seem to have.
Yeah. She's not super nervous and tortured, right? Like, we don't have that, oh my God, if I miss this, Eteria is going to kill me vibe going on right now.
Right.
I will say that there's a lot of attention on her, but I will say that in the interview with Ted, she said, I was very impressed when he asked her what she wanted to improve on, and the two things that she said are the two things that I think everyone on planet Earth would agree with. Well, 2 out of the 3 she hit. She said she wanted bigger jumps and more artistry. I would also say better skating skills. Now, she's improved a ton in a year.
She has.
Her skating skills were abysmal a year ago, and they've gotten to needs work.
All she can do is improve them bit by bit, and especially in the upper half. The arms were better, and the toe was pointed a bit more. From me, I see it in a lack of knee bend when she's just kind of doing choreography.
Yeah.
That's where I notice it the most, and I feel the speed.
I really worry about the torque on the jumps versus the height, what happens when she grows. But I think she talked about bigger jumps. At least we see that this is a competitor. This is someone who has some hunger and some self-driven motivation going on that she wants to do well, right? Like, this is coming from within. I will say that I think that both her triple axel and her quad lutz were under. I'm confused and perplexed why the ISU is pretending like it was clean when we're so hyper-focused to always point out the under rotations. These were not.
And again, I know Tom was doing a thing about Vincent for his own sake, but when his major complaint when he was talking about it, whenever that was that it's just inconsistent. Do we care or do we not? Are we going to micromanage every landing, or are we just kind of letting them go? And I think everyone would be on board for one or the other, but it's when there's no consistent calling.
But
if they want to call this clean, that's fine, but then you got to call some other things clean too.
I mean, these weren't clean, but she did a good job. You know what? She went out there, and you're never going to get the ultimate result unless you put it out there. So I thought that it was good, but what really impressed me, honestly, was that she made a mistake on the second triple axel that she doesn't usually make.
An easy one, not an easy fall.
Bad fall, got right back up, nailed the triple loop, and nailed all of the hard backloaded combinations that she does. The mind is just steady, and you could tell that there's a part of her that loves to perform. And I think for her, it's more perform the jumps right now than perform the artistry. But I think over time, because they spend a lot of time with her and Lori, I think that she will, if she keeps working with her, keeps spending all that time working on the skating skills and the artistry and the oozing like a tube of toothpaste, I think that we can get somewhere.
Get there.
The only thing that worries me is that America has one Alysa Liu, Russia has maybe 6 or 7,
right.
Korea has like 4, Japan has like 3, so the odds not in her favor, but the mind is quite good. So I think that is promising, but there's a lot to work on.
I was curious to get your take when she does the triple Lutz, Euler, triple salchow at the end of the free.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you like her Euler? Or whatever we're calling it?
I don't like an Euler to begin with. So.
I don't either, because so many of the times you really see them wrench their body sideways, and I
also don't like doing an Euler. I don't like doing it, and I don't like watching it. I find it ugly, and actually when Tara Lipinski did an Euler, that was the one Euler that I was like, wow, that was...
Well, because it looked a bit different, because some of these I hear a sound effect in my mind. I feel the skater is going... Ugh,
that's like her roller skating technique, though. She knew how to do that from the roller.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought Alyssa's was a little lower.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem as clunky as maybe some of the other ones we saw here, where it's literally just a big awkward realignment of the body.
Yes.
I don't know. It was kind of interesting.
A lot of Oilers are sort of like half flips because you're really just like switching feet. But hers is better, I think, on her 3-jump combos than others. But
it's less distracting in a way.
It seems more fluid, right? As she does it, than when you watch like Tarakanova, where it was like, dear God, what is happening? But I think that Alyssa, there's a lot to work on still. I thought her components were a little high for what she did. I'm sure that when you see someone land all those jumps who has the notoriety and then in the home country.
And the crowd behind them. And it was good packaging. I thought the music choices were great. I thought it was appropriately choreographed for her ability and what they're trying to show.
I mean, look, she has elevator music because they're trying to smooth out the rough edges, but it's...
Elevate her. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
We'll see what happens. She's in that awkward stage, but I think she'll win nationals again. So as of right now.
Yeah.
But I don't love watching her triple axel. Like it's like
Well, and that's the other thing. I don't know if it's because we're 90s kids that grew up with those giant ones. It just seems, even with Mao's, when I finally saw it in person, it's so different when we're just watching an expert rotator versus someone with just tremendous spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just somehow, because I thought to myself, this girl, just like I thought with the Russians, they're doing a quad frickin' Lutz.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, it doesn't look very big. That's the thing. But in person, Alyssa's was like, wow. But it wasn't like, whoa. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tarakanova. She was third here. One of the bigger names coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That free skate, the dress, the performance to Frida, the...
Hideous, with the white belts all over and the purple fringe and the red roses and the yellow and green accents.
How many more years do you give her skating? Like, I feel like we've been falling...
I think she's overdue.
Yeah.
She's expired. To me, this was... And in the short, the lean, she's not getting any height on the jumps. She was wearing, like, a swashbuckling outfit to skate to a song about a whorehouse. Like, I don't understand any of it, and she's not giving me... I was sad to see her.
She was the Indian girl's favorite skater. Got her autograph. Okay.
Well, there you go.
I thought that was like endearing,
See how much education they need there.
I know.
But I was sad because I would have much rather have had the Korean skater in fourth on the podium for sure.
Yes.
Because the spins were awkward. It was a tough watch. It was a tough watch.
Oh, and Karen Kwan choreographed for the Korean in fourth. So.
Oh, who I have to say, especially now that was Ms. G. Was she fourth?
Yes.
Yes, but was second in the short.
Yes. The Korean
and
with no star quality but good jumps and good technique was second, and she looks like a real steady Eddie. I think Yoon Jung Park is going to really push the other skaters with her technique and her consistency, but she doesn't have that je ne sais quoi. that
the girl who was second in the short program, I'm afraid to say her first name.
Soyun.
Soyun? Okay, G is the last name.
Yeah.
The short in particular was full of pizzazz and performance elegance, I thought. It was really, really nice.
And these are two Korean names that we were not on a familiarity with a year ago. Their depth continues to grow. Korea keeps boosting, and if you notice, Japan's younger skaters aren't. We keep hearing about these triple axels, but the girls they've been putting on the Junior Grand Prix are not filling the ranks underneath Rika and Kaori as much. Korea is happening. They are happening in a big way. They are getting stacked. That's going to be a very competitive nationals, and if they start not overworking their skaters, we're gonna watch quite a dominant group within the next couple of years. They've all got really good Lutz toe technique.
Oh my gosh. Park, when she was doing the triple Lutz, triple loop, the air positions were just like textbook to me. It was Their skaters
delightful. Have a lot of performance charisma when they compete. That comes, especially Soyun, and we've seen like Hyeon Lee and Ensu, comes out of nowhere. They have girls that really have like toddlers and tiaras star quality that comes out of like.
Yeah. And the spring. Like when she
Jean Benet is delivering, right? Like from the grave, Jean Benet is like out there giving us all the
Well, I don't know. I felt Diana Davis was more of a Jean Benet kind of selling.
They all are. Jean Benet is alive and well, and in many of these skaters' hearts. Okay? She's
Even though they would certainly have no idea who she is.
Fine. The viewers who do totally got it. Okay?
Exactly.
But I thought that Soyun, I would like a straighter pattern on the triple Lutz, triple toe. I think the pattern that she has lends to potential under rotation as much. But to me, I'm just so impressed, and I think that if the ISU either needs to pull the Chinese Grand Prix or the French Grand Prix that can't get a sponsor and move it to Korea, because that is where the future is going. So if they want to keep building the sport, which is always unclear if the ISU has that as a priority or not. But that would be my recommendation there. But I have to say, the Americans on the Junior Grand Prix for the ladies continues to be a real head scratcher. You know, our favorite, the Canes, they had a skater here, Jessica Lin, who actually has talent, but she is with the Canes. She was wearing a dress version of Hanyu's costume from 2017, a total copy, and the free skate was a disaster. It just looks like the U.S. skaters are a little bit unprepared for this level of competition when they get results. And I think under Alysa Liu, there is not the depth that we see in...
Well, and that's why I was asking you earlier about what happens internationally for novice skaters. Because it's part of this that this is just their first time competing in this kind of arena. And it does seem like you're really hitting the ground running with these girls doing quads and triple axels and all these triples. I wonder if there shouldn't be more of a novice international scene to start getting everyone accustomed to this.
There have been small competitions over time, right? But I think that this is there's that Gardenia Trophy where you send a novice junior to junior to compete novice, but this is something where the USFS really has to figure out how they select the skaters and have skate offs, and whether or not there's going to be more of an official competition where they all face off head to head, perhaps, because they don't always seem psychologically ready with their jumps to be out there. And I think that you see that a lot with skaters, and then they have weak performances, and then they go out. I think we're going to talk about this in the men as well, but Amelia Murdoch is another one of the skaters from the Mitchell Johansson school. And those skaters are just always high in the knee, so flippin' tense, so flippin' anxious.
I just see anxiety. I feel the anxiety.
Well, it's like we're all skating with Mark's burden of his career at all times, and
it cut his shoulders up and gripped. It's held very tightly. Yeah.
Ross was always like a 7.0 skater in terms of skating skills when they just need to relax into the ice.
Right.
But I think that that's taught every day on the ice, and then in competition it gets magnified. And we see it again even with Ryan Dunk. He was a lovely skater.
Well, that was... Are we segueing? Let's segue.
I think we've hit everyone. The Japanese, Ayuka Tasada, really lovely skater with a rough performance. Yeah, I think we think we've really hit the skaters.
Well, let's talk about Ryan, because now this is an 18-year-old, so already kind of on the older scale of things.
For the Junior Grand Prix, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there was some gorgeous artistic qualities to his skating. His arms, his back. There are small before he does the combo in the short program, he just does a couple of musical turns of his hands that are so subtle, and it's so well thought out, and these great things, but inevitably these jumps are anxious.
Yeah.
I just get that anxiety from it. And the artistry is excellent, but it's not out of this world excellent, I think, to justify it.
I don't know even when we interviewed Mark, I sensed an anxiety. When we asked Mark about his husband, I sensed an anxiety, right? That was...
Some people are just wired this way.
Right? Like, I felt like he was still nervous, like, thinking and skating from 30 years ago to, like, talk about.
Dave, I sang in Dresden, and I was, like, staying in a homestay, which is so gross to me, but I was trying to talk to the family about what it was like to live in East Germany. Mm-hmm. And they still have this paranoia that someone is listening or they're going to get in trouble if they say the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And even this many years later, it's exactly what you were talking about. There's a fear, there's a grip that's happening.
Every single skater that we've seen from the Mitchell Johansson, especially in the men's discipline, has this kind of fear. And they often have the bad Mark Mitchell, Axel, and salchow, quad salchow technique going on. That we see from skater to skater to skater with Ross, with Ryan, and I felt that Ryan's artistry, though lovely, I thought that the program was about 10 years dated with the music and the whole shtick. Like, it was nice, but this is someone who...
The short was a better program.
If we could send him to, like, Yuka and Jason and Alyssa and Jeremy and Kurt and put them all in there, I think that we could really kind of smooth it out a little bit, right? Like, there's talent there, there's potential, but it's...
But it may be one of those things, and I do not mean this in a dismissive way, but this is an ideal candidate for those shows on cruise ships and things like this, because this is a beautiful skater.
Beautiful skater.
I just don't know how that beauty could ever be appreciated in this kind of competitive arena.
Well, because now he needs quad, and it doesn't look like that is...
He has triples, kind of, Yeah.
Well, and he is a lovely skater with a lot of talent. I have to say, who stood out to me in terms of charisma, although he's very, very young and still has...
I've got a new favorite, and I feel like you're going there.
My little son, Joe Klein. Yes!
Obsessed.
Do you follow him on Instagram? I mean, this is a kid that just, like, loves skating. He's doing triple axels on his trampoline off the ice. Like, he just has this innocence and this, like, joy about skating, and he has got,
he exudes the joy of skating, and when you see that, it's intoxicating, it's infectious. I suddenly am loving skating more than I have in a while by watching him, and it was every extended arm, every mood he created. The free leg, holy cow, it was
And he's
insane.
Coached by some intense, the assistant coach is Russian. I don't know if the main coach is Russian, but the assistant coach always messages us. She's very nice but intense. Like, when we were talking about intense Russians, like, yes, they really work on his skating skills, and you can really tell that they really do work on it all the time. I think if he could be in ballet for the next couple of years as he goes through his growth spurt, it'll really help the posture and the deportment on the technique on the jumps, because he has a lot to work with. That actually... There's so much there, and there's such an innate Tiffany Stiegler star quality going on that
and when we were talking about so much of the movement and footwork and all these things tends to come forward, and he in the step sequence is using both open and in kind of stuff so naturally. It was almost the thing where you're like, oh, should Jeremy just choreograph something for him? It was just, I couldn't, the cantilever into the triple salchow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Right? And
so that's a kid that's watched Shoma Uno and was like, why don't I try to put a jump at the end of it? I mean, like, there's just that fun, enjoyable quality.
Wouldn't it be cool if kind of idea? Yeah.
I'd like to see a headless scratch spin, Valeria. Okay? Like, I would like to see some fun, pizzazzy moves, because this is a kid that has X factor.
Yeah. Holy cow, what did I write? He does some kicks or something.
Yeah. During the step sequence and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, before the double axel in the short. And it was, I could barely catch my breath for a moment. It was so cool.
I felt like he was attempting the harder jumps for one of the first or second times. I don't know that for a fact, but it seemed like he was turning out of the flip, and it just seemed like that was on the upper end of what he
Yeah, they were twizzle exits, weren't they? Yeah.
But we have seen him training harder jumps. I just don't think he's competed them all before. And this was a big step up for him. But men do spend longer on the Junior Grand Prix than some of the girls do. So I think that he will develop over time if he keeps everything steady. Like, there's something here. Interesting, I thought Ilya Malinin, coach, his mother.
After we just revisited all his mom's stuff when we were doing Nagano. And it was so fun to go back because, I mean, that woman, there were some parts of her skating, obviously, that were just a train wreck. But the jumping was always exciting, even if unorthodox.
His triple axel is as big as her triple lutz, right? Like, it is just like, wow. Okay, he's a junior man doing a triple axel for +2, +3s. Incredible. And did it in combination in the free. But
and he's got some real spunk.
His mother had one of the biggest triple lutzes of all time, and I noticed that his toe jumps were quite small and had like the Atari rotation going on. For a boy, that worried me. Why are they so small? Like, what's happening there? But his edge jumps, especially the axel, quite good, quite like amazing Russian triple axel going on. So not sure, like even the triple loop was a little bit small and more arms than legs, and his mother certainly jumped with her legs. So I don't know if that's just a technique to get the triple triples, but a little bit worrying because it's definitely not going to get the GOE, and he was getting an under rotation on the toe on the end of his combinations. But the spring and talent in this kid is one that I would develop. Like this is one really for the future. The spins need to be faster.
The camel free leg was a tough one. Yeah. But
he has some star quality too. When he did like...
Yeah, he was doing his hair a couple times. And then there was this, I wrote Make It Rain. There's some part where he's doing the spread eagle on the Make It Rain.
Yes!
And he gives you a fist like up in the air and totally smiles in a very genuine way. Not in that, remember when Mariah was clearly told to smile more, so she would skate around and be like, and then keep going. This was such a genuine...
When did Mariah's personality change? Was it after 2008 when the pressure started to get to her? Remember she started crying the next year? There was all sorts of like signs that like this was not the happiest situation early on. It was... Yeah,
I mean, for me, obviously, it was 2010 Worlds that I was like, oh, this is done. But,
no, even the Skate America in 2008, remember she was like crying before she went to center ice? Like there was some real...
Well, I have to go revisit that. I'm not recalling that right now.
Yeah. And it was
you know what I am recalling, though, Dave? How hideous the fabric was on that furniture in the Kiss and Cry here. It looked like it came out of like a Cracker Barrel waiting room or something. It was really quite unfortunate.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah. You know what else was unfortunate? Gogolev's costumes, okay?
Oh my gosh. The sailor one? It's like Cracker Jack box or something.
The free one looked like he got it off the rack at Uniqlo and then like not even in the right size. Here's the thing about Gogolev.
When did we see him last, Dave? Because we saw him, 3 weeks ago or something?
It was
one
bad.
Of those
it was bad
Canadian things?
No, but he was at Golden West or one of the LA competitions.
No, Minton was just the dance one. Okay, he looks like he's grown 4 years older in that period of time.
He keeps getting taller. Here's the thing with Gogolev.
He looks like
got a lot of talent. A lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely has parents that are intense, Russian parents. And they did the thing that a lot of parents do, where they want their kid to be with the A-list coach early, right? And there are positives and negatives to that, because you obviously are skating on the same session as Hanyu, and you are learning you're seeing the quads. And there's clearly been a focus on jumps. But I have to say, Brian Orser is like a coach manager. We have not seen him raise skaters.
He's more, a finisher is an important quality to have in a coach, but you go to the finisher when you're ready for that.
So Gogolev went early, and then Brian is, obviously he's not Brian's first priority, not his second, not his third. He's a talented kid that he has in the wings. But his skating skills are okay. I mean, we know that Doug Hall will rave about Tracy's class, and I think Tracy's very talented, but then when you watch someone like Steven, there's a sloppiness that comes out of the cricket club that doesn't satisfy all of my soul's needs.
Aesthetic desires in the sport of figure skating. Yeah, okay.
And also, he had dreadful programs last year. He had dreadful programs the year before. They've never focused on performance with him, and now we get to a point where he needs to have that charisma to compete, and there's just nothing there. They put very strange mix of music together that Peter Gabriel of the Free that I don't know these Peter Gabriel songs. I want to know them, but I don't.
Know some of them. It was a strange. The point is, it's clear it wasn't Steven's choice or didn't inspire Steven to perform more. And I was just
Raphael has so many pizzazzy gay students. He has Jeff Buttle doing his jazz hands. He's got Adam Rapon.
They came to him that way.
I know, but he's got Ashley. Call them up and let's get Steven. But it's hard because you want him to perform, but he has to learn the Roth technique. We even see him doing that Roth Lutz where he puts the foot behind the other on the exaggerated edge into it. And he's growing. Nathan had some hot mess years with Raphael too, where it was up and down. And
but the new size, I think, is playing in addition to the new kind of technique. Maybe
so now it's you've got the size problem, you've got the charisma problem, you've got the slow spins, and just the okay skating skills. But you've got the huge expectations. He won a junior Grand Prix last year, and then had a messy medal at one. I think he won one, and then he blew the second one, so he didn't make the final.
Right.
They split with Orser. He was with Lee Barkel. Obviously, that was a holding pattern until they could get to Roth. But it just looks like this is going to be his year of suck. And then, hopefully, he will get through it.
The growing pains here. It seems like Roth likes him.
Yes, of course. He can do quads. He's Nathan-esque.
But to me, I bet it means it's probably doing what Roth wants it to in the practice sessions.
But Raphael is already doing his Raphael BS that we know and love, where he is he comes to me, nothing I can do. Dave, I am so busy. I am not miracle, going to take time,
Yeah, but he's right.
He probably says, he's not young. No, not young.
Yeah, Dave. Bad schooling. Or what did he say? Education? When he was talking about Ashley and Adam.
Oh my God, Jenny and I debated that for a long time, and we were like,
I do believe he meant the basics. I think he meant basics.
Did he? We really thought you could go either way. Did anyone graduate from high school? I am not sure. Although I will say Adam is very smart, or has smart managers, because as soon as he got some money, he bought that house in Nevada where there is no income tax. Jonathan, Christy Yamaguchi did it. That is genius, okay?
Yeah.
You are one smart cookie, or you have a smart agent behind you. That.
Appropriately, yeah.
He got that hot boyfriend. He manifested him. Adam manifested the Olympics, the Christine Brennan article, the fame.
No, wait. After you and Jenny were talking about the secret, he was secreting it.
I think he secreted Ashley out of the way.
Okay.
All the attention was on him, honey, for once, okay? He
Yeah.
had to put up with her drama for so long, and then it was all on him. And he probably gave her half of her quips for years. So, we'll be talking to him in a couple weeks, months, whatever, before the book.
When the book comes out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it'll be fun. I don't know. We've got a lot of questions, but when we saw him move to Nevada, I was like, that is one smart cookie. I
thought it was just in preparation for Skate America.
Yeah. Yes. Really anyway, Gogolev, I think that Roth needs to call his effervescent boys who had all of the charisma and not so many of the jumps. And I think that they could really help him. He's going to need to work on the spin, so don't call Ashley about that, but maybe call Jeff. Right. But we need to... I think Gogolev does have the raw potential to go the mile for Canada, but I do think we're in, like, the
growing pain years, literally and figuratively, yeah.
Show me that smile again.
Show me that smile.
Don't waste another minute on your crying. Steven needs to laugh. He needs to show us that smile, okay?
He needs to show us the joy.
Yes.
That what's his face? Joseph
Klein. Okay, Klein has enough joy for like 17 Jason Browns. Like, so I think that Gogolev needs some of that. But there is a impressive talent and fighter in there. Yeah. So we'll be watching. I do think that our winner here has so much talent again, and it was
especially effective in the short program. Even though he was wearing strange, mismatched nude gloves, I was like thinking of Jenny for sure. But I'm always interested in who captures the specific music moments, but he captured the mood right, even though he wasn't necessarily giving you as much face as you might have hoped, or as much response physically to the actual music. He embodied the energy of the music really well, I thought, in the short. The Romeo and Juliet was a miss for me. But I'm curious to talk to you about his jump technique, his air position. Like when he did the triple Lutz, triple loop in the short, he almost had a cluttered air position look. And it's interesting, it wasn't tight, it was just kind of all over the place. And I was just impressed that he was able to do so much with...
So what you're saying is, the air position was bad, but he still landed it. So that made you...
Yeah.
You're giving me TED talk, so I'm trying to just interpret.
Yeah, well, because I'm trying to hone in on what's bad about the air position. Because when I see it,
Joseph had a little air position that didn't please me, like... Joseph has a little bit of the Brady Tennell chicken wings going on.
Yeah, I wrote chicken wings for somebody, but I didn't know if that was for Joseph.
Joseph has the elbows out a little bit.
Okay.
And we will need to fix that.
Yeah, I wonder who... I wrote chicken wings for somebody else. Yeah, it's just distracting, for sure.
I don't want to go to KFC when I'm watching skating. Like, we're not calling the Colonel.
Popeyes, isn't that the whole thing?
None of that Chick-fil-A, okay? They don't like male figure skaters, okay?
That's right, yeah. They're part of... I was trying to remember, what was the name of that Canadian program that they came out with where they were trying to get their male skaters to butch it up back in the day? Do you remember that?
Was that Own the Podium? Or like
Own the Podium, and it was basically like Be a Man or something.
The Elvis Stojko, one of his offensive.
Yeah.
They've been tweeting something that Elvis said around, back. Like there's...
Oh, I said chicken wing arms about Ryan.
Oh, well, yes, that's true too.
I had chicken wings all about it.
But oh my God, I don't know if you've been paying attention to Instagram, but did you see that 2 of our favorite skaters are doing some Lutzes, and today is the deadline in the USFS to register for regionals. Will we see Paulina Edmonds and Gracie Gold? A couple skaters that skate in Ardmore said that they see Gracie doing halves of her programs, so she will at least go to regionals where she could do like double axels and win and make it through. So she has to really be prepared for sectionals, and it looks like as she is getting better, she's putting more effort in. So she feels a little more confident, goes to the gym more.
Well, wouldn't you be more inspired by results? Yeah, yes. I think so.
That's very real.
But we know because Vincent's been pushing it. Did you know about Paulina? That thing came out of left field for me.
So, our friend Scott Dyer teaches soul cycle.
We love, yeah.
Paulina showed up at a couple of his classes and said she was going to compete, but then we didn't, hear much of it. And, Rudy said that, oh, yes, Paulina's coming back. But then we saw that she was second at a competition that we didn't get videos of. But then, a week later, Paulina Edmonds, always a slayer, in hot pink tights and, a sports bra, doing triple Lutz, triple toe, probably under-rotated, can't really tell, But it was like the Paulina technique was back, and you know what? We need the depth in the U.S., and we need the cult of personality, and we need the story. I mean, this is a girl, love her or hate her, she says what she thinks. She has
and I love her for it. I love her for it.
She has a mother who's a complete nightmare. She can do what she wants. The father is like, has more money than small countries. Who has a lot of money. Than the Indian Skating Federation. Look, she is here to entertain. Always, Paulina, here to entertain. She doesn't like those other girls. They don't like her. And that's what we really like about skating. She keeps it real, you know?
Yeah, I think her addition also makes it for a very interesting shakedown.
Yeah. I'm always amazed. She never does, like, triple Lutz double toe. She always goes for that cheated triple toe. She knows how to, like, will herself to do it.
Yeah.
And, she's good at cheating those jumps, just like that little rotation. But she's in better shape than she was when she made her comeback the Olympic season. Like, she looks like she's matured a bit. And looks like
we didn't see that kind of material even on Instagram from her so much when she was making that comeback. She would do like the single, or not single, but I mean an isolated Lutz on its own. I don't remember seeing the combos.
Because maybe this comeback is for her. Maybe the other one was people and that whole like not having regrets, but this one is her wanting to
maybe rushed.
Yeah,
I'm sure because of the Olympics, it rushed all of that timing. And if now she has truly taken the time. That Gracie always threatened that she was taking, but then she always, in my opinion, tried to come back too soon. But if Paulina's finally ready to do it, actually, I think it could be much more effective.
And Gracie still has the height on those jumps. Oh my God.
That makes me miss that whole era. I mean, because Gracie was already a throwback to those big jumpers, and that's what's missing.
Come on, Ashley, come back. We've missed you.
Well, okay? I don't know that she was a big jumper.
Listen.
I mean, with that kind of Tanya.
We need Ashley to come back, all right? If Paulina and Gracie, maybe Ashley could commentate at Nationals or interview them, or come on. She needs to do something.
Judge. She needs to judge. That's what she needs to be a technical caller or something.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We need Ashley present. Okay.
If Vanessa Gusmaroli can do it.
I feel like Ashley hasn't changed her hair color in a while. I mean, come on. We need it. All right.
Okay.
Keep your eye on the prize. All right, Ashley. I don't know what she's doing, but there have been speculation. She might be with the Mitchell Johansson method coaching. That was like some of the word that was going around the Boston area.
She actually might bring an energy that would be much needed to an anxious training environment.
Yes.
Right? It's a good lighten the mood.
Or intensify.
Yeah. Or take on that anxiety and regret she did. But,
that was she could teach them how to shimmy. Look, Mark Mitchell needs to lighten up and shimmy a little bit. So there could at least be some pizzazz, right?
I feel like right now a Mark Mitchell shimmy would be very Benoit.
Like there's always like a stiffness and a conservativeness to Mark's programs. And they need to like stand out, okay? Like Josh Groban was very 2003. We don't need to be bringing this now.
Well, the Andrea Bocelli, I think someone who was, Like, I don't know. Questionable.
It's questionable. But you're very...
And I don't need to talk about Gleb if you don't need to talk about Gleb.
I thought about Gleb that it was very Mishan in the fact that they spent all the time on the first couple of jumps, and you could tell they probably do drill after drill after drill on the first couple of jumping passes, and then it looked like he had never done like full run-throughs of the program, and the easier jumps just...
And you know what? He's young, but I'll tell you, that boy has lived a life. He had the soul of a 50-year-old when he went out there. I was like, he is tired. He has seen some things, and he's doing these Elizaveta Tuktamisheva knockoff programs with like faux gambling in the first one, and I don't know what he was. Rhinestone Cowboy Moonlight Sonata in the second one. I don't know what was happening.
He has seen some things. Okay.
Yeah, he really has. He's lived a life. That's what I was taking away from him.
That's okay. It's okay, Jonathan. It's all right.
Yeah.
But Ted had another just
gem.
When he felt that Panafilova and Rylov really looked like a senior pair. Now, granted, they have a big twist.
They do have a great twist.
They have some senior moves, but they look like the kind of Russian pairs that the jumping is not the strength, and we're doing like double axels. She did a double sow, he did a triple.
The weirdest entry to their double axels in the short program of all time. I thought that was so weird.
But I always love, like, people will leave comments like, why aren't they competing in seniors? And it's like, so they don't get their ass kicked? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, why do we...
Yeah. No, now here's the real question.
Why is everyone always trying to pee on your leg and tell you it's raining in figure skating in the fandom, okay? Judge Judy needs to be answering all of the questions, okay?
That's right. Actually, with her height, she'd probably been a good pair girl.
She would have been a great pair girl. You know what?
Yeah.
She's making more money than anyone. She keeps doing that show and knows how to slay. She's a performer,
right?
Okay?
She gets it.
That husband, Judge Jerry, was doing nothing compared to Judge Judy. Judge Judy is out there slaying, all right?
Amazing.
My
question is their absolute hatred for one another at the end of both programs. Yeah. That was alarming. And even Ted was a little flustered. He's like, okay, it seems like they're very upset. I'm not quite sure what element they would be so upset about, but it just seems the general demeanor between the two of them is like cutting edge. Remember when they do the short program at Nationals and they're like, it was like two cold strangers or whatever it was.
Well, remember like, he would like unbutton your button your top button. Like
Yeah, it felt like that, and I couldn't quite figure out what that was.
Well, were you uncomfortable by the age difference of the second team? Like, that seemed a little bit safe sport to me. You know, like that's
Xenia and Valeri?
Yeah. Like that was...
Oh, he's my new favorite.
I know, but them together, it was awkward.
I don't care, I wanted her to leave anyway.
She looked about 9. He looked about, like, ready for the Russian bars. But
she skated like she was 9.
Yeah, she did. I don't like these Russian junior pairs. I'm not into them.
I've got to tell you.
And the mother who organized the Red Hats, her daughter was competing here. We won't touch on that either. You know, we'll just... Yeah, exactly. Jonathan, we will just move along. We're just noting.
I'm just going to have some seltzer water real quick. Because a lot is bubbling up within, okay? But I have to say, Valeri is one of the most beautiful skaters. And I don't mean the aesthetic. I mean his free leg, his extension, his deportment, his arm movement. It was ridiculous. I mean, their jumps were a mess. Mm-hmm. She's kind of a terror lifter, just kind of out up there. But his free leg is so stunning. I couldn't even get over it, how beautiful his skating was. And it seemed like a mismatch. I mean, you're talking about from the age standpoint, which makes sense to me now that I'm thinking about it more. But really in their overall skating skills, because his were phenomenal. Mm. His, in my opinion, Tim Leduc was the poor man version of Valeri. And I think Tim Leduc is an exquisite skater, but this guy's skating skills were something to behold.
Well, Jonathan... I texted Coach Natasha.
Okay.
I sent her a video of the Indian skaters, and I said, "Could I have beaten them?"
And the answer is yes, Dave. You had a double salchow.
She wrote back "Konishna niet," which means that "Konishna," like yes, of course. Okay, yeah. Like "Konishna niet" means of course not. No, she wrote back yes, of course. Like, yeah, like come on. Oh no, Tom Collins died. That's why they had the.
Oh.
Remember they had that reunion for him? Christina.
Yeah, I do. Well, nice that they were able to have that, actually.
Yeah.
Was he ill with cancer or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's tough.
Talk about a family that knows where all the bodies are buried in skating. The things that went on that tour, Jonathan.
Right.
He was a legend. And getting that tour out there, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. He was... Oh, what's that? That is... I never met the man, but we've seen him interviewed so many times that I feel like we're old friends.
Was such an influential person. You know, really actually did things for the sport in a way. Yes. Yeah, instead of just being involved with it.
Oh, that's so sad. That is, yeah. Oh, wow. We have a lot to cover. Did we hit all of our bullet points? We had... we didn't talk about Medvedeva.
Who? No, I'm just kidding.
So Evgenia Medvedeva is going to try her quad salchow. She has been training it. We have heard that this is a real thing, but she doesn't know that she's landed a clean one yet. She's been trying it. And she expects that, she would be kind of satisfied with falling on a clean one for right now, which I think is very realistic. It was very, unusual in skater
Again,
world.
A real person talking about a real strategy, saying, you know what, at this point, if I fall on a rotated one, that's still a win.
Well, you have to go out there and make that progress. You have to go out and be willing to put it on the line. And it's not going to happen overnight. I'm sure that if she started working it on 2016, I wonder, why didn't they work on it? They probably didn't think that they needed it. But when she was spending all the time doing, triple salchow, triple toe, triple toe, triple toe, triple toe on...
Right. Yeah. Right. All of that time and energy could have spent building. But, if their plan was to retire her after Pyeongchang, clearly. She wouldn't have needed it.
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting for her this season. She has so much charisma. The skating skills do need work. And
that is brave. When we talk about when you code, oh, that's so brave. It actually, it's pretty incredible that she's going to try it. And I'm intrigued to see what the progression of its development looks like.
She's a fighter.
From that camp, how they're going to do it, how they're going to build it, what the strategy is.
She's a fighter.
So. Yeah.
Oh, and Danny G's mom passed away. His mom was the ballet teacher, and she was a ballerina, quite young. We didn't know that she was sick, so that was surprising as well. So, and that'll be interesting to see, how they have so many skaters, and he's the one that's been traveling to the Junior Grand Prix, and that's going on right when he lost his mother. So it would be understandable if maybe they would send the other coach who works with the novice upcoming juniors. Maybe they would send him and give Danny some time off, because that's a really rough go.
Yeah, to be traveling and working. And then, I just remember this from my own personal experience when everyone's like, oh, well, it's a good distraction. And I always wanted to say, why do I need a distraction? Why can't I just be devastated for a second here?
Well, it's always healthy to feel it at the moment. I had a couple years ago, 2016, my boss lost her husband unexpectedly and then came back to work 2 weeks later. And then had to go on a medical leave a couple months later because you can't hide grief forever, right? So
right.
It she was in such a mode I'll be back at work, and you're you don't no.
You do you, yeah. But my goodness, there was also the article, Dave, about Stolbova's new partner.
Oh, I am so here for seeing her again. Yes.
Yeah, so that will be intriguing. The
apparently
interview
Stolbova, apparently the early growing pains with Stolbova were a sight to behold, because putting someone of her stature, he's obviously skating up, and it takes time and attention.
And she knows he is.
Oh, with that personality, yes.
But it was interesting because we've talked about throw technique and things like that. And when he was saying, a lot of times we're saying, is the girl doing her part of the throw? And it seems like she wants to do all of the work in the throw. And he said
we're gonna have to get Megan on for when she makes her debut. No one loved her more. So...
but Megan also, talk about a technician. She can really see what certain strategies are. And I thought that was the most interesting. It didn't tell you too much, the interview itself. But that was the part that
I just always love when the Russians get into their psychological souls. That's the way, when they speak and oh.
I know, and a little tricky always through those translations, because then you're translating the translation to something that actually makes sense.
But gossip, I could live. Oh my God, when Vaitsahovskaya is speaking to them, oh, I love it. Okay, and the fact that Tarasova has been involved and Nikolai. And,
okay, but now we've got to talk this out, Dave, who just casually sends me that clip of Tatiana Tarasova that I have never seen before, where she's dancing with a rose in her mouth. You put it on Instagram and stuff too. What on earth is the backstory to that?
Okay. One year she was real flippin' fat. She would have gotten a letter from a healthcare company that we would have put her in some program, because she was 2010 Vancouver Olympics. Tatiana was, I don't know, she was commentating and clearly out of breath the entire time, and she was Like, the whole program, you were like, is she going to keel over?
Okay.
All of a sudden, they did some celebration, like, a year to 18 months later, and Tatiana got in, like, the best shape that we've seen her.
I was going to say, she looked half the size she was in Vancouver.
And I forget if it was for her birthday, because I was trying to look up the years and what year she was born. I don't remember exactly what it was for, but it was one of those shows honoring her that they do in Russia. They're always, like, honoring the veteran coaches. There was a great one with Moskvina and Mishin last year, where...
Oh, yeah.
Where someone, like, skated and sang, Samodurova. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was, like, under the radar.
And on Mishin's face, like, okay, this is happening.
And I forget why I was thinking about it, but I always try to put up, like, something interesting. I always try to put up fun videos throughout the week. Like,
you find them. Yeah.
And I was like, well, how about that time that, because it was pre-TSL, I was like, how about that time that Tarasova danced the tango, and it was like, my God. Like,
hold it. Giving you Diana Davis realness.
She is a performer. She delivers, okay? Yeah. That, incredible. Incredible. Yeah. She has so much chemistry, sex appeal, va-va-voom persona. My goodness, okay?
She backed it up. She backed up all of her, commentary about selling it.
Oh my gosh. And I love when, like, young skating fans who don't know the full history are always trying to fight. And because I said that she was known, for her work as a pair coach and an ice dance coach. And they were like, she's known for singles. And you're like, oh, there's decades of Tarasova.
It's called the 90s.
And the 80s. Besvidova and Buk. Like, take a seat. The Tarasova Ice Ballet, that's where Igor and Gorzhesur defected from, where they were skating with the Terry. I mean, come on. These people go way back, okay? This is...
We even know the dad. Come on now. Yeah, don't get us started.
That was a great
movie. Yeah.
I love these young skating fans.
Which one was the movie where he's featured so much? The hockey one we watched.
The Red Army.
The Red Army.
He needed to be on one of those healthcare programs too. That was.
She comes by it honestly.
She does. Oh my gosh! And we need to see this. I want to know about the sister and the mother. I want the full story. Like, what is Tarasova's sister like? And does Tarasova really get along with that Irina Wiener? Are they fighting for Putin's attention? Like, what is going on there? What is?
Yeah. Let us know. Do you know?
I'm scared of Tarasova.
We have great Russian fans, some of them.
We do. Sometimes when she goes to visit Nikolai in Jersey, like, she's going to Whole Foods. Like, oh my God, if you ran into Tarasova.
At the salad bar?
My God. Okay. I've run into Galina's
I would run to the department where they have the flowers, and I'd give her the rose and make her do the dance.
I've had run-ins with Galina.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Galina also does that Russian thing where they pretend not to know you, but they're staring at you the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then I just stared back at her. And then she said hello. Mm-hmm. You have to break them before they break you. It's all a fear tactic, okay?
Yeah.
You just have to know their game that they're playing and not be intimidated by it, okay?
Well, you've had certain Russian guests that will make sure to take a call right before you interview them to assert dominance.
Excuse me. When we met Tarasova at Worlds, she told us to wait while she talked to someone, went to go to the bathroom, and then came back to talk to us. And then I was like, hurry up, take a picture. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. You knew where you stood.
They're always trying to do it, but then they love the attention, right?
Yeah.
They are like...
They have it any other way.
Excuse me. When Tarasova wishes people a happy birthday on Instagram... It warms my freaking heart to do that, like, be very healthy. Or, like, what she is saying about, like, your students likely say thank you, Igor Boris Moskvin. Think about how many people now thank you. I love it. The narcissism, the theatrics, her dancing with that rose. Listen.
I mean, no limits there. She's...
And I've been on a deep dive lately. For some reason, I was like, we need to go back and watch season 1 of Dance Moms. And we need to revisit that time. Because it was such a unique time in culture that was like a...
Abby Lee is very much a skating type persona.
She really is.
Yeah.
So are those mothers.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their own psychological issues.
Right.
I just think we need to go back and revisit. And
I just remember some of the later seasons where they were having actual physical altercations. That's when I thought, things are escalating.
Kelly. I always loved Crazy Kelly. She would have been a great ice dancer. Okay? I cannot... When she and Abby talked about their history, and she said that Kelly... They were like, what was Kelly like? Fun, bright, a little dingy. I was like her kids. I was like... And then Kelly goes, there's this one clip where she's like, Abby was always really mean, but I learned a lot from her. Like, when you wear strappy sandals, it makes your ankles look fat. And I was like, amazing.
These people, I mean, dear Lord, Pittsburgh, get it together.
They are stars. And did you know that Michelle Kwan has a niece, Sophia Oppegaard, who, competes in the competitive dance world?
In that circuit, okay.
Now that Abby Lee is back in a wheelchair, I think we need to get Sophia on the show. I don't care if she's a more talented dancer than those girls. The exposure will be everything.
It's important, yeah. Look what happened to those girls. They got so
And I
much
loved
exposure.
watching Michelle on Queer Eye. Imagine if we could watch Michelle on Dance Moms and see, Abby try to fawn over her. It would be everything. I don't want, the Cheryl Burke season where we try to talk about female empowerment. I am not watching that. But... Yeah. To try to see Michelle come in and then Abby trying to be like, see, she knows about professionalism. I mean, come on. We need to watch it with the whole thing.
Okay.
There's also...
Michelle's next project, I'm sure she'd be thrilled.
Listen.
There's probably a lot of overlap in the clientele, though, in the viewership.
The older sister, Olivia, is a gymnast, but she's had some injuries and was cheerleading, which Abby Lee has told us is the death of anyone. Listen, Abby Lee told us about cheerleading. She's like, what? You want your daughter to go flit around with some pom-poms so a guy can go to college for free? And I was like, that is correct, Abby.
Yeah. Hit the nail on the head on that one, Abs. Yeah.
See, Kelly told us we can learn a lot from Abby.
Yeah, for instance. That's an actual thing.
Okay.
Yeah. We detoured right the hell out of that ending there.
And then, do you know that Nia is now on The Bold and the Beautiful acting?
I didn't even know The Bold and the Beautiful was still on.
Exactly. And Abby prepared her well. Remember when she taught Nia the ethnic dances? Because she said that Nia needed to know.
And the mom was upset about it. Yeah.
The mom was upset about it. But Nia is now in, the stereotypical diverse roles on, the soap opera where they have, 2 token people of color so that they can try to get more ratings. They always do it on the CBS shows.
Okay.
Nia is now in one of those coveted roles. She is making the money, laughing all the way to the bank. So,
yeah, good for her.
Abby knew what she was doing. Okay.
See?
Apparently, there's a boy on the new season. I haven't watched it yet, but I know that Abby's in a wheelchair and it's mean as ever. I'm ready for it. Okay.
With all the blankets, a nice Pittsburgh Steelers blanket over her leg.
She's also in LA. Yes, I am here for that. We need Sophia Oppegaard. Look her up. She has dance videos. I think she would be perfect for the show. I think, yes, we could have Karen come in and choreograph with her long hair.
There could be a drama about Peter trying to pick her up or something.
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it. That's very Big Little Lies. But listen,
okay.
Peter always had Abby choreography. The girl was always killing the guy at the end. Yes. He's a real scary guy. But anyway... What was your favorite performance on the Junior Grand Prix? What was your favorite TED moment of forced positivity? Mm-hmm. What kind of internal conflict did you feel when the Indian skaters were performing? How much time would you like Alysa Liu to spend with Lori Nickel in the coming months? Leave it all in the comments below. Subscribe if you are new, because we will have lots more content coming soon. Hold it edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.
Bye.